Good evening, everyone. This is Melissa Thomas with Florida National News coming to you with the evening news rundown for your Wednesday, September 16th, 2020. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. And as always, we'd like to extend an invitation to anyone looking to advertise here at Florida National News on any one of our 5 shows or on our website. If you're interested, just shoot us an email at ads@floridanationalnews.com to find out more. Now, as always, guys, we'd like to get you started with the latest COVID-19 reports globally here in the United States and in the state of Florida. So globally, the World Health Organization is reporting over 29.4 million confirmed cases and over 931,000 confirmed deaths. Here in the United States, Johns Hopkins University is reporting over 6.6 million confirmed cases and over 196,000 confirmed deaths. In the state of Florida, the Department of Health is reporting over 671,000 confirmed cases. And at this point, we're at 13,000 confirmed deaths in the state, combined residents and non-residents that have passed away due to COVID-19. And speaking of COVID-19 cases, globally speaking, the nation of India, you guys heard us reporting about that yesterday. They have now passed the 5 million mark in terms of confirmed cases. A bit of bad news going on over there. But do remember, India is one of the most populated nations on the planet. But in keeping with keeping you guys updated, they made this report today. They confirmed that there are 5 million as of today, and it's still increasing. Testing, especially it's a test on the country's healthcare system in tens of thousands of impoverished towns and villages. The health ministry there has reported 90,000 new cases in just 24 hours alone, raising the nation's total to 5.02 million, if you guys wanted the specifics, at about 0.35% of its nearly 1.4 billion people. And now 1,290 people have passed away in the last 24 hours from COVID-19 there, for a total of 82,000 plus that have passed away due to COVID-19 in the nation of India. Their total caseload is closing in on the US highest tally of more than 6.6 million cases. You just heard us read the Johns Hopkins numbers, and India is fast approaching our numbers as well. And experts are expecting India to pass that number within the next few weeks. India reported a record high daily of 97,570 cases back on September 11th, and has added more than 1 million cases in the month of September alone. Now, experts warn that India's case fatality rate could increase in the coming weeks as well. So not only the number of cases, but the number of fatalities as well could increase in the coming weeks with lockdown restrictions relaxed, with the exception of high-risk areas. Authorities ruled out imposing a second nationwide lockdown as recoveries were growing. So that's good that those are growing as well, at a rate of more than 78%. Now, its fatality rate is a little bit lower than the US or Brazil. Its fatality rate is 1.6%. As of right now, the US and Brazil is reporting 3.3%, according to Johns Hopkins University, 3%. Now, most of India's deaths are concentrated in its largest cities, so Mumbai, Delhi, Bengaluru, Chennai, and Pune. But smaller urban centers in Maharashtra, like Nagpur and Jalgaon, have also reported more than 1,000 deaths. The health secretary there said on Tuesday that only about 6% of the patients in India were on oxygen, 0.31% are on ventilators, 2.17% are in ICU with oxygen, and 3.69% are on oxygen beds. So we'll continue to keep you guys updated on all of that, of course, because we have an international audience and we know you guys have family back home for those who are in the United States. So continue to check on your loved ones and continue to stay safe wherever you are as it relates to COVID-19. Jumping here to the United States, the White House is now open to compromise a little bit more in that fight for that next COVID-19 stimulus bill. You guys have heard us report about the stalemate that resulted in the last round. So in the latest report, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Tuesday that Democrats are open to delaying an October recess to get a deal with Republicans on a new coronavirus aid bill, as the White House signaled that a $1.5 trillion proposal unveiled by moderates deserved consideration. Now, with the US presidential and congressional elections less than 2 months away, Congress and the White House, so far, you guys heard me talk about the stalemate, they've been unable to agree on this fifth bill. having approved more than $3 trillion worth of measures earlier this year. Now, so far, Speaker Pelosi is saying, quote, "We are committed to staying here until we have an agreement." She said, there are disagreements with Republicans on how to crush the virus that has now killed nearly 195,000 people in the US. But President Trump said he was trying to reach a deal with the Democrats on additional stimulus as well. He said, "Just before I came here, we had some pretty good talks with the Democrats. We'll see." He said that at the ABC News town hall back in Philly. The House was scheduled to recess no later than October 2nd, so members can campaign at home before re-election on November 3rd. But as you heard Speaker Pelosi say, they're willing to forego that in order to, nail down a specific deal. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer said lawmakers could be on indefinite standby with 24 hours notice of any vote on a coronavirus aid bill if a deal is reached. Now, some conservatives have labeled, the proposal too expensive at $1.5 trillion. And some liberals, including some senior House Democrats, complained it fell far short of what was needed to boost an economy which has been plagued by COVID-19 and save lives. But again, the White House said that the proposal deserved consideration. Now, meanwhile, Congress is expected to focus in the coming weeks on passing legislation funding the government beyond September 30th. You guys had heard us report last week about them being able to narrowly avoid the last threat of a shutdown. So September 30th is fast approaching. So we'll continue to keep you guys abreast of what's going on there as well. Now, they formed a new caucus, by the way, called the Problem Solvers Caucus, which includes 25 Democrats and 25 Republicans. And they've been working to find common ground on this particular coronavirus bill for the past 6 weeks. And this was a Problem Solvers proposal, which drew praise from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So again, we'll keep you updated, all that fun stuff, because this is the lovely world of politics. In the meantime, though, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will come back with, before we do the commercial break, we jump here to the state of Florida, actually, for a quick COVID-19 update. The Orange County Public School System has proposed their own COVID-19 dashboard. This is a quick glimpse of that dashboard. You guys heard us report something similar in one of the other school systems in Central Florida. But the Orange County School District is giving parents a new tool for tracking the COVID-19 cases at their schools. They launch this new dashboard with daily updates. It gives parents, employees, and the public a breakdown of the total number of confirmed cases on campus since the start of face-to-face learning on August 21st. Now, officials are saying the number of confirmed cases by school and date will be updated every night at midnight. Right now, 115 cases have been reported since schools reopened. Less than 2 weeks ago, Olympia High School saw a COVID-19 outbreak, and the district decided to shut down the school. 156 were exposed to these positive cases, 6 positive. This was from Orange County Public School Superintendent Dr. Barbara Jenkins. He said 1 case is still pending. The 156 include, by the way, 15 staff members and then 135 other students were exposed to these individuals and 1 bus driver. Now, since those 6 positive cases were initially reported, 2 more students and 1 staff member have tested positive. So Orange County health officials say that some of the positive students can all be tied to the same high school birthday party. So they did that through contact tracing. Now, following the shutdown, the district coordinated COVID-19 testing on the high school campus, specifically for staff, students, and parents. You guys heard us report about this last week. Now, all of those contacted during the tracing investigation are still under quarantine. And as of right now, Olympus High School is expected to reopen on Monday. So now we will take our quick commercial break, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
At Duke Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?
Welcome back, guys, to the evening news rundown. In the next U.S. story, you guys have been following the wildfires out west, and Oregon has been particularly hard hit. And as a result of the fires out in Oregon, the plumes of smoke has reached as far as the East Coast now, traveling the jet stream across the country. So far, according to health officials out there, air quality in 5 major cities in Oregon has been the worst on record as the state continues to be blanketed by thick smoke from those wildfires, which have now ravaged nearly 5 million acres, 4.5 to be specific. Okay, 4.5 million acres have been affected. The fires have generated so much smoke that, along with hazardous air from California to Washington state, skies above Washington, D.C. have also taken on a hazy kind of view, thanks in part to the smoke wafting thousands of miles from the West Coast all the way east. Now, the environmental officials have also kind of talked about the bits of smoke and ash known as particulates that have been in the air and have reached the highest levels on record in Portland, Eugene, Bend, Medford, and Klamath Falls in Oregon. And this is according to the state's Department of Environmental Quality. They said this on Tuesday. Now, air this week in all 5 cities was rated hazardous, according to air quality standards. And in Bend in particular, the air quality index topped 500, which exceeds the air quality scale altogether. So extremely hazardous. Now, satellite images showed that the smoke had traveled on the jet stream at a high altitude to reach across to the East Coast and is affecting not only Washington, D.C., but even New York as well, according to the National Weather Service. Now, a spokesman for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, John Simcoe, said that generally such particles are carried on the high wind and may not come close enough to Earth to impact air quality. Although, as you can see, it's, it could possibly affect air quality here soon. As of right now, in DC and New York, the air quality is within considered safe US standards. We'll continue to keep you updated on that too, because those are pretty serious fires going on the West Coast. And in recent reports by the Associated Press, the fire officials out there are starting to kind of run low on their efforts to control the fires. We'll continue to keep you updated though. Now, jumping over here to the East Coast, we have the opposite going on. Hurricane Sally has now hit the Florida Panhandle and Alabama and has been drenching both areas. On Tuesday, it affected the Mississippi area, particularly highways that were close to the beach and kind of low-lying areas. But here, in terms of Alabama and Florida, particularly around the Pensacola areas and Mobile, Alabama, they have been getting particularly drenched because Hurricane Sally has been moving at a rather slow rate. When Hurricane Sally made landfall in the Alabama, Florida area at 4:45 a.m. this morning, she was moving at a whopping 3 miles per hour. And at that speed, the rain is simply consistently falling in particular areas and drenching, causing massive flooding. And as it continues to move, it picked up speed as it moved further inland. It increased speed to about 5 miles an hour, but it is still at that speed, drenching a lot of properties. Folks are having to evacuate, and there are some that have not been able to be rescued. Rescue crews have been saying that they had to wait until the water subsides before they can go in and rescue some of the residents in the areas. As of right now, the winds have slowed down. When Hurricane Sally made landfall, the winds were at a whopping triple-digit speeds. But she has slowed down to 70 miles an hour now, moving at 5 miles an hour, but giving out 70-mile-an-hour winds. When she made landfall, she was moving at 105 miles an hour. So flinging boats off of their mooring and in some cases causing massive damage. In one part there was a condominium, according to the Associated Press, that lost a wall that exposed about 50 different units. So fortunately, there have been no reports of death yet, at least not according to the Associated Press, but there are a lot of evacuations, and we'll continue to keep you guys updated on that as well as Hurricane Sally continues to move. Because as of right now, the authorities in Alabama and Florida and Georgia are saying that the worst is actually yet to come as it moves from Alabama into Georgia. So just stay tuned here at Florida National News for more updates on that. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick commercial break again and come back with your business and sports stories. Stay tuned.
I'm not picking it up. You pick it up.
I'm not picking it up.
Well, somebody's got to pick it up.
I'll pick it up. They're clean. 'Cause my hand is clean. Oh yeah, I'm Charmin Clean. That's how I know they're clean.
Charmin Ultra Strong is woven like a washcloth and just cleans better.
Yeah, I'm Charmin
The
Clean.
kid does have a
That's
point.
how my hand is clean.
Enjoy the go with Charmin. And for an extra clean finish, try Charmin Flushable Wipes.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Evening News Rundown. In our business story, Hobby Lobby is set to increase its minimum wage to $17 per hour, and this will go into effect officially starting next month. Now, this was an announcement made on Tuesday, citing the difficulty of working during the COVID-19 pandemic. So the hourly wage hike will make Hobby Lobby, which has more than 43,000 employees and 900 stores around the U.S., among the highest paying U.S. retailers. Amazon, Costco, and Target offer a baseline pay of $15 an hour, while Walmart offers at least $12 an hour. Now, CEO David Green said, quote, "Because this year has presented so many challenges to our employees, we are very happy that we are able to provide pay increases to thousands of our associates before Christmas season." Now, the CEO said that in a statement. Now, part-time workers at Hobby Lobby who earn $11 an hour will not qualify for the new base pay. The company didn't disclose how many employees will earn $17 per hour, though. They made headlines earlier this year when stores didn't close as the COVID-19 pandemic swept across the nation. In states like Texas and Wisconsin, locations closed temporarily, then reopened as essential businesses opened, offering face masks and sanitation supplies. Back in April, as the virus shuttered businesses around the U.S., Hobby Lobby furloughed thousands of its employees. The federal minimum wage continues to be at $7.25, of course, having last been raised back in 2009. And of course, wage varies from state to state. So a bit of good news for anybody working at Hobby Lobby or thinking about working at Hobby Lobby. But we'll continue to keep you guys updated as well. Now, in sports, previously, you guys may have heard the Big Ten, they weren't going to do sports in the fall. They weren't going to do football in the fall. However, as of today, the Associated Press is reporting some good news. There will be fall football after all for the Big Ten. They made the announcement today. The football season for the Big Ten Conference will start the weekend of October 23rd and 24th. So anyone who's a fan of the big teams that are in the Big Ten Conference, they'll be able to enjoy their college football. All 14 teams will play 8 regular season games in 8 weeks, plus have an opportunity to play a 9th game on December 19th when the conference championship game is in Indianapolis, if all goes well, of course. So that should give the Big Ten an opportunity to compete for the national championship. Now, the Big Ten said its Council of Presidents and Chancellors voted unanimously on Tuesday to restart sports. The vote last month was 11-3 to postpone, with Ohio State and Iowa and Nebraska having voted against that decision. But when the Associated Press had asked them, what caused the change of heart, it was simply science. They said when science changes, the mind changes. So congratulations in terms of the Big Ten Conference. And for those of you who are college football fans, you guys will get to enjoy a little bit of sports, at least football to be specific. However, it is Wednesday, so we do have the lovely Angel Perry, who is here with us to have an awesome conversation with us. How you doing, Angel?
I am good. How are you, Melissa?
Doing good.
Right.
So we wanted to discuss today for our audience the latest developments and the announcement that Louisville has announced a multi-million-dollar settlement with Breonna Taylor's family. So wanted to get your thoughts on that, particularly given your passion for social justice, and get your thoughts, like, is this one step closer to justice? Because of course it's not just the settlement that they did, but there are a couple other policy changes that they made. Kind of share with our audience some of that as well.
So for those of us that are in the trenches, advocating for community equality and all these different subject matters to get this country on the right path, the settlement is actually typical. So you got to think about it. The $12 million comes out of taxpayer coffers. The city used it in order so that it kind of shuts the family up. Right now, everything's very raw. In the community, there's already rumors that they were trying to clear out the housing where Breonna Taylor lived to like revamp it, which is done in multiple cities when, you know, the higher end residentials run out of space and they want to make another section of the city a more higher paying rent or, you know, commercial estate or whatever they have. So that 12 million prevents the family from really either going after the officers. It alleviates the city from actual liability. So it does not move the community forward. Cities all around this country give families hush money. Not that they don't need it, but it's a type of, well, if we give you this and we say sorry, it won't happen again. Now, uniquely with this settlement, there are a list of policies that are put in place. So that's encouraging if they actually follow through. A lot of it is contingent with the cooperation of the FOP, though. So are we really any much ahead? The only thing that I think is a solid ground that is positive is that the no-knock warrants are off the table.
Right.
They have 4 different checks and balances before they could even issue the warrant, because that was the problem to begin with. They had old information from whoever. Nobody double-checked the address. Nobody double-checked to see if whoever they were looking for or whatever drugs was even an active site. They have things in place in the drug units to double check if the location is even an active site. And it hadn't been in a few years. So it's like, that's just lazy. It's very lazy. And then in a country where it's about freedom and protecting where you live, you have somebody knocking down your door and don't announce themselves. Like, what did you expect to happen? But then it's like, well, why are you shooting up the residents? No account for children, no account for anything. And it happens over and over again in this country.
Yeah, so just to clarify for members of our audience who don't know what FOP is.
Sorry.
You're referring to Fraternal Order of Police, right?
Order of Police, which is a police union. I apologize.
Right.
Yes.
Hey,
so
we
lingo, like, whoa.
Yeah. So I mean, one of the things we love doing is educating our folks. But
Absolutely.
So I mean, but still touch on some of those though. I know you said like some of their policy changes line up with it, but kind of enumerate some of those for us.
So part of the warrants now is that it's going to be mandatory, and you got to wonder why it wasn't before, but it's mandatory for the commanding officer to double check the paperwork. Mandatory body cameras.
Right.
Mandatory written approval from the SWAT executive board or whatever. Why wasn't this in place already? You're going to go into a residence. They're not concerned about liability until now. Is basically what all these warm, fuzzy words say about their policy updates. So one thing that was interesting on here, it says commit to bargain for increased drug and alcohol testing. Okay. Let's unpack that. What if their average, and I don't know, I'm just guessing, what if their average sample drug testing is 10 officers? So then they add one more? I mean, that's weird. And then it's still contingent on the union contract. So Yeah, a
Interesting.
lot of warm fuzzies. Mandatory EMS paramedic presence. Now, that is a good idea, but why wasn't that available already? A lot of times a warrant will turn into somebody getting hurt, whether it's the officer or the assailant or a bystander. So now it's on paper that they have to have one. I just, a lot of the stuff that's on here is common sense, but it's like, why wasn't, this is 2020. Why are we doing policies that should have been implemented 20, 30 years ago?
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah. And to your earlier point about, the money, as you put it, shutting the family up. What does the family still have a recourse though in terms of applying the pressure to still have the officers arrested? Because we still haven't heard reports of
No,
that yet.
no. So the community can push for what they feel is results in justice or what justice looks like, but the family, there's me personally think they're sacrificing a lot to accept that 12 million settlement. I'm sure they need it, but it, in the bigger picture of things, they are definitely sacrificing a lot of their rights to advocate for different. Like, this is a civil suit that was settled.
Hmm.
Anything that has an additional outcome or additional information going forward that would have a stance in court for any reason is now null and void. It releases the city of any more liability, period.
Okay,
So,
got you.
yeah, I mean, criminal, you can always pursue for criminal outcomes, is what everybody's looking for. It's like
Right.
you have a judgment call. You absolutely have a judgment call. But when you run into someone's residence and you just blindly, I mean, there's no lights on. This is the middle of the night. There's no lights on. You're not announcing yourself and you just blasting. You discharging your firearm over what? I
Hmm.
don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of questions.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing your take on this. Appreciate that. I saw the update. I was like, ooh, gotta get Angel's take on this.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue to keep the conversation going on this. If you have your comments, your thoughts, where you are on the argument, by all means, leave a comment below. Let us know how you feel about it. Don't hold back. It's cool. Like, we'll join the conversation with you as
Right.
well. We would love to hear from you. But Angel, as always, thank you so much for being on the show. Always a pleasure to
Thank you.
have you. All right, you take care. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we will be back with the entertainment story to wrap things up for us. Stay tuned.
Mercury agents everywhere are saving people hundreds and are also there to help save the day.
That was fast. You covered.
Thanks, agents.
Watch out!
That's my car!
Don't worry. We're here to help.
For savings and service above the rest, you can count on Mercury. We're on a mission to save you money.
All right, guys, we are back with our entertainment story as we wrap up. And you guys have likely heard all the buzz. Dancing with the Stars is now back on with, of course, the lovely Tyra Banks as the new host for the new season. And they're boasting a 3-year premiere high in terms of viewership. So congrats to them. Which is ironic. By comparison, the season opener for Monday Night Football didn't fare so well, falling double digits from 2019. But Dancing with the Stars, they got a pretty good reception, particularly with a cast that includes rapper Nelly, Tiger King's Carol Baskin. For those of you who weren't following with that, yes, she is one of the contestants, and cheer coach Monica Aldama. And they scored a 1.3 rating among adults 18 to 49 in Monday's final ratings, which is the best for a premiere for Dancing with the Stars since fall of 2017, and the highest for any episode of the show since the fall of 2017 cycle, next to last installment. So the next to season finale. Now, it also drew 8.12 million total viewers. So if you heard the 1.3 rating and you're wondering what does that mean? Yeah, 8.12 million total viewers on Monday, which is the most on broadcast TV in prime time. And following the Dancing with the Stars premiere, comedy special VOMO, Vote or Miss Out, also earned a modest 0.4 in adults 18 to 49 years old, which amounts to 2.54 million viewers. So Monday night was an interesting night for television, but congrats to Dancing with the Stars for achieving that high in the last 3 years. So that's pretty good for them. And this season with those contestants promises to be quite interesting. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That does it here for us at the Evening News Rundown. If you haven't yet, be sure to like, share, subscribe, follow us, all that fun stuff. You can find us at Florida National News on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And when you subscribe on YouTube, remember to click the little bell icon to receive all the notifications for all of our shows. And as a quick reminder, for anyone who is interested in advertising with us, just shoot us an email at ads@floridanationalnews.com to find out more. But thank you guys so much, as always, for tuning in. You have a great rest of your Wednesday afternoon. Continue to stay safe. Continue to protect yourself against COVID-19. And be sure to check in on your loved ones. There's a lot going on here in the Deep South and over on the West Coast. So continue to stay careful, guys. Take care.